Good morning, everyone. Or we owe these 7 young men a little more energy than that. Good morning, everyone. All right. We are so excited to welcome you to the 24th annual Belford v. Lawson Oratorical Competition, hosted by the Alpha Alpha Lambda Scholarship and Educational Fund of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. My name is Brian Agnew, and it is a privilege to serve as the chair of this year's competition. Today, we have such a treat for you. 7 of Essex County's finest young Black boys are here to wow you with their command of the English language, their passion for social justice, and their desire to ensure that this world only characterizes them as our next generation of physicians, CEOs, entrepreneurs, hopefully future alphas, attorneys, accountants, Supreme Court justices, as we've seen, elected officials, and anything else that they dream as they grow. The namesake of this program, Belford Vance Lawson Jr., was a civil rights activist who made at least 8 appearances before the Supreme Court. He was the first African-American man to win a case before the Supreme Court and the first African-American president of the YMCA. Keeping with this trend is another dynamic orator. You may have seen him filling in on World News Now a couple days ago, or on ABC as their latest news anchor and national correspondent. It is my pleasure to introduce our fraternity brother and today's master of ceremony, Derricke Dennis.
Thank you, Brother Agnew, and welcome everyone. It says in your program I'm with NBC News, but I think Brother Agnew devoted me to that network, which is the number 2 network, and ABC is the number 1 network, and so that's where you will find me. This is a great event. Those of you who have attended in the past know how special it is, how much of a real treat it is to see these young contestants get up and give their take on Dr. Martin Luther King's perspective on the world today. It is always a real delight to see these young men channel the thoughts and the goals and the aspirations of our fraternity brother, Dr. King. And so you're in for a real treat again this year. Brother Agnew talked about Belford v. Lawson being our fraternity brother, a great orator, someone who argued before the Supreme Court, the first African-American to do so. And this oratorical contest being named after him, not just for our chapter, but across the globe of Alpha fraternity chapters. And so you will find a Belford v. Lawson oratorical contest pretty much everywhere you go. So we are continuing the tradition here in Newark. The program, as you see, is lengthy, but we will move it along. We want to give our contestants time to expand on their thoughts and their presentations. We know you've been practicing very hard, and we're looking forward to it. We want to open with a rendition of Lift Every Voice and Sing with our fraternity brothers, Dr. Joey Jackson and Carlos Nichols.
Y'all please stand for national anthem. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of lift liberty. Let our rejoicings rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling seas. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the presence has brought us, facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our Father sighed. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out of the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the bright gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, Thou who hast brought us thus far the way, Thou who hast by thy might led us into the light. Keep us forever in the path, we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadowed beneath thy hand, may we forever stand true to our God, true to our name, till
Let's get these brothers a gospel recording contracts. Very nice, brothers. Very nice. Dr. Joey Jackson and brother Carlos Nichols. Brother Nichols, I'm going to have you come back to give our invocation, and thank you again for blessing us. I don't think I've heard a duet rendition of Lift Every Voice and Sing quite like that, so we're blessed. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. May we all take a posture of prayer. Dear Almighty God, the one whom we all may call by various names, we come this morning thanking you for the opportunity to gather, even in the midst of a world that seems chaotic. We find it a blessing to be able to gather in this place to celebrate gifts and talents of oratory. God, we thank you for every person that is gathered in this place. God, we thank you for every contestant. We thank you for every family represented. We thank you for the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated that continues to spread the light to these youth who are marching onward and upward. So God, we ask that our time here be spent well as we are gathered around tables. Tables are symbols of fellowship, of trust, of mutual understanding, that we may hear encouragement, that we may hear empowerment. And God, when we leave this place, may our lives never, ever be the same. It's in the name of Jesus we pray and we give thanks. Amen.
Brother Carlos Nichols, we are the brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, the Alpha Alpha Lambda chapter of Newark, Essex County. And I just want to have all the brothers of this chapter just stand up for a moment so we can recognize you and show our guests who you are and how supportive we all are of each other and of this event. Thank you, brothers, for your hard work that you put in to make this program a success that we know it will be. Thank you. A bit of a housekeeping note here. I just want to make sure that we are clear about our contest rules and what the criteria will be as we judge our contestants. They'll give their presentations and they'll be judged as they give them live today based on the following 10 criteria: their opening, the logic they use, the creativity, the eye contact they present, voice and diction, originality, their appearance, their preparedness, their effectiveness, and finally, the timing. We will have a timekeeper here to keep time. Our panel of judges is before you here. We will introduce them as we go through the program, but I wanted to go through the criteria just so that you know, as an audience, and our contestants already know what we'll be looking for. It's a difficult job of judging these 7 contestants, but we have gone high tech here in the sense that before we were tabulating the results by hand, but we now are doing it electronically. So that means that we will have real world, real time results as the contestants give their remarks. So without further ado, I want to introduce our first contestant, Raven Williamson.
Good morning. My name is Raven Glenn Williamson. I'm 13 years old and a student at NCP KIPP Newark. To begin, I would like to thank my teachers, especially Ms. Cook, my principal, Mr. Griffith, the Brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, the Alpha Alpha Lambda chapter, and my coach for this opportunity. I'm here today to offer you my thoughts of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s perspectives of the world today. I would like to acknowledge and familiarize the audience with the profound role that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. played in the American Civil Rights Movement from the mid-1950s until his assassination in 1968. He worked tirelessly to seek equality and human rights for African Americans and all victims of injustice through peaceful, nonviolent protests. I believe Dr. King would express a lot of emotions about the first 2 years of this decade. I'm very positive that in spite of everything, he would still have an inspiring mindset after seeing the insane events which have taken place so far, such as voting rights being overturned, killing of countless unarmed people of color, especially Black males, and inequality in the workplace. As an activist, he fought solely for the rights of people in a very divided, depressing, and deadly era. Today, racism is still a major problem, as we all know. 2 years ago, a virus called COVID-19 took over the world. It turned the lives of people all over the world upside down. The country came to a standstill. Millions of people died and are still dying as we speak. Not since the Spanish flu has there been such a pandemic. COVID-19 has killed more Americans than the Spanish flu of 1918. Dr. King would be sad about the statistic. I did my entire year of 6th grade learning remotely, thanks to the hard work and dedication of my teachers and school community. COVID-19 has changed the way we live our lives indefinitely for sure. To add to that, the truly outrageous actions of America's government at the time clearly made me worry that the United States were not in a position to handle this pandemic. Then climate change became critical. Some doubted that more than ever. Dr. King would probably be speechless to see what the effects of climate change has had on the world. Hurricanes striking more frequently and severely, people dying by the hundreds and losing their homes and their livelihoods. In spite of that, there were still so many people who believed that climate change is a hoax. Then came the world-stopping death of George Floyd, an unarmed Black man whose neck was knelt on by a police officer while he begged and pleaded for his life. His life ended up being taken from him. People were absolutely, positively outraged and furious. The media was clogged with broken-hearted people of all races. Dr. King would honestly have had a whole lot of raw emotions and thoughts about this grim event. I am quite sure that he would be enraged to hear this. Protesters with angry, hurt feelings stormed all around the country and the world, protesting in the name of justice. They wanted consequences to unfold for the police forces in America. Because of evil, disturbing thoughts, and prejudice, an innocent human being on this planet was killed. If you were to compare Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s era to our era, there would be a few major differences. Back then, racism was a critical, major problem, and he pushed to stop it by organizing protests, boycotts, and mobilizing communities to come together to end the depressing matter. Today, although it is still recognized as a horrible, evil way of the human being, it's addressed all around the world through government, social media, and community mobilization, especially in America. After and before George Floyd's death, many educated people of color, including teenagers and young adults, expressed their pure anger about discrimination, police brutality, and racism. The Black Lives Matter movement played a major role in mobilizing people to speak out and demonstrate against police brutality and the harsh treatment of Black people in general. Although Dr. King had done the same in his time, this time around, it was a new generation who used the power of bringing about change through activism. There is no way Dr. King would be disappointed after learning that African Americans are still fighting and making a difference to be shown the same level of respect and dignity as of anyone of a different race. This matters because that was the core of what Dr. King stood for. If Dr. King was still alive today, I'm sure he would organize protests and communities in order to fight for consequences for humans that harm innocent people of color just for who they are. In conclusion, I feel optimistic that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. would be very proud of the example he set for us to follow to bring about change for the better. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, quote, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Contestant Raven Williamson.
Injustice anywhere, a threat to justice everywhere. At this time, we will have some words from the chair of our Alpha Alpha Lambda Foundation and one of my favorite brothers in this chapter because he sponsored me, Brother Mark Hassell.
Did a good job, didn't I? I don't sponsor many, but when I do it well. And very proud of Brother Dennis. Good morning. Welcome to the 24th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Oratorical Contest. This contest is brought to you by the Scholarship Education Foundation of the Alpha Alpha Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. This is the philanthropic arm of our chapter. We, as the foundation, have been for 40 years providing scholarships to young men from middle school through college graduation. And so we try to reach them at these critical stages because assistance is needed at every stage. And we believe it's our role and responsibility to assist in aiding our young men in moving forward. So the MLK Oratorical Contest is for 7th and 8th grade young men. The Marion B. Frederick Scholarship is for high school seniors going on to college. The Johnson and Williams Scholarship covers young men at Essex County College who are going from the 2-year to the 4-year institution of their choice. And finally, our newest scholarship, the Michael Machoki Scholarship, is for an alpha brother at one of the colleges that our chapter supports. So again, from 7th grade to graduation, we are there assisting young men in Essex County. This contest, the oratorical contest for our young men today, is the beginning of their journey. The journey will take them through life, but the key element is communication. That is the essence of success. The ability to get one's words across in a meaningful way is critical. But first, we need to help them do that beginning now in the 7th and 8th grade. So I want to also thank Brother Dr. Agnew for all his work in making this a possibility and always making it a success. Brother Agnew. And we're also glad that we are live again. We have not been live in 2 years. Last year we were virtual, very successful virtual event. But I think it's important that when we speak to other people, the live event has much more meaning, much more power, much more impact. And so we're glad to be able to offer this live, although, albeit giving separation and giving, due honor to the mask mandates that are in place with the state. We are still in that place, but again, we are hopefully moving forward to a better place. Our students today will begin their journey and they will speak to us and communicate more effectively. Our brother, Dr. Martin Luther King, used that tool of communication to reach the hearts and minds of many out there. Today's participants will use their voices in a public forum to begin that journey. We are honored to have the opportunity to help them begin their first steps. So, there will be a winner. Just like in real life, there will be a winner, but no one is a loser. Because although everyone cannot get a trophy, everyone will get a Chromebook. Again, thank you for your support and generosity to the foundation and to these young men. And again, on behalf of the chapter, we wish you the best. Thank you.
Brother Mark Hassell. Sounds like our foundation, our chapter foundation has some money. Give it out Chromebooks and lots of money in scholarships. Thank you very much. I just want to have a word about more on COVID. As you saw, our first contestant is wearing a mask. All of our contestants are wearing masks, and our judges are not holding that against them. Even though it's not traditional, we are still in a pandemic, and so we're honoring that with our masked contestants as they give their presentations. Okay, so our next contestant here is Julius Carter.
Break down all these walls, break down all these walls. The walls we break down walking while lift our brothers and sing. You don't know our leader's name is Martin Luther King. This was at the March on Washington in 1963. A powerful chant demonstrating the life and legacy of a powerful man, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Wherever he spoke, he gained the hundreds of supporters that smiled happily at the sound of his voice. However, his voice was also despised by those who had racist opinions. Wherever he gained the attention of supporters, he also gained the attention of racist enemies. What would he say to us today? Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. What does that quote mean to you? To me, it is like an interruption in which everyone's views are heard, and people have opposing ideas can take matters into their own hands and bring them down. To think of it, it is like a light bulb in your room, which merely works with the wire, bulb, battery, and a switch. This is how the light bulb is powered. But just so suddenly, if one part is removed, the entire light bulb will work as properly and therefore be destroyed. If the switch is removed, the light will be turned on so easily. If the wire is removed, there goes a long, wide conducting light source. If the battery is removed, there goes your power source. Lastly, if the bulb is removed, the light will be destroyed, just like light becoming overcome by darkness and all hope is destroyed. Will that stop us? I asked, will that stop us? Some of you might think yes, but that darkness always becomes light. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can. You can't stop light, but you can stop darkness. Darkness can be scary and frightening. However, light comes in and pushes forward like a boulder driving down a cliff, knocking down everything in its path until that strong boulder meets the ground that is still standing up, going forward to continue that strong legacy toward those who need it most. My friends, we also have another problem. In the past, we have encountered a group of rebellionists who thought they were superior toward all African Americans. As scary as that was, darkness had come back trying to destroy our light bulbs, but we weren't afraid. We stood strong like brick blocks. When we started stacking bricks upon bricks, the load was heavy. The weight was often unbearable. But in the end, we were built like houses, and we should be proud of all we have accomplished this far. We should all keep on going to even stronger achievements. Since that, we can all grow, but at different lengths. And even though we are still faced with a lot of hate, remember, hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. In the words of Sir Rudyard Kipling, if you can get your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating. So get out and into the new. Don't be that friend you've been traditional loyal to ever since kindergarten. Even if you dislike them the whole time, you can always make the enemy a friend. Don't you agree? We can all show a little bit more love. Don't you agree? And we can create a legacy of love. As our legacy helps to redeem ourselves, we should be able to chill like that boulder and rebuild that light. Life has roll down as waters and righteousness as a mighty stream. that March on Washington is more than an important event. It is a reminder that we are still fighting for our justice the way we are. We're not perfect. We are made to feel differently, with some having differing protections on one thing. As scary as life can be, we, and yes, I said we, should let our voices be heard and listen to the voices of others. We should also be able to rise up and overcome no matter the obstacle or dilemma we are faced with. I implore you to rise up like a mountain and stay strong and sturdy like a brick house. The amount of resilience we have will always take us one step closer to Dr. King's dream. If we remain strong, we will be able to stand on a mountain with arms open wide, joyful energy, love, liberty, and the mentality to let our true light shine through. We are unfortunately still far from what essence that I fought for. But as long as we keep fighting through Black Lives Matter and fighting for justice and saying their names, Michael Brown, say his name. Eric Garner, say his name. Sandra Bland, say her name. LaQuinn McDonald, say his name. Mayor Wright, say his name. George Floyd, say his name. Walter Scott, say his name. Freddie Gray, say his name. Fernando Castillo, say his name. Breonna Taylor, say her name. And unfortunately, the list goes on and on. I have to believe, though it began many moons ago, will not only be a dream, but soon become our everyday reality. Will you join me? Will you join me? I said, will you join me? Will you join me to break down all these walls? Break down all these walls. The walls we break down walking while I lift our brothers and sing. You don't know our leader's name is Martin Luther King. Thank you all and have a blessed day.
Julius Carter, break down all these walls. Told you it was going to be a treat, right? We are blessed to have a couple of chapter presidents with us here. Obviously, the president of the Alpha Alpha Lambda chapter is here. We'll have remarks from a little later, but want to bring up now the president of the Phi Eta chapter, Ray Wilkinson.
Morning, everybody. How you doing out here? I'm doing great. This is a really great program we got going out here. I'm really excited to be a part of it. I'm really thankful to Brother Brian Agnew for including us on this. And I'm really happy to see all you out here on this campus. As you know, I am Ray Wilkinson, the president of the Phi Eta chapter here at Seton Hall University. I just want to take some time out to give you all a warm welcome to our campus. This is Bethany, and I'm really excited to get going and see the rest of these student presentations. Thank you, guys.
Ray Wilkinson, president of the Phi Eta chapter. Our next contestant will come before us is Kamsiyochukwu. Kamsiyochukwu.
Yeah, I'm a kid, a Black kid, living in a world fueled by racial injustice and one where the truths of society are brutal. A world where the opportunities of a Black man are still scarce, and a world where our Black communities are still not attaining their desired goals. A world where finding good education for any willing student of color is still difficult, and a world where the Black race has been victim of racial discrimination. It was never his dream, Dr. Martin Luther King's dream. Yet, here we are, a newer community than ever before, and we have still not fulfilled this dream. Dr. King fought for the liberation of all people of color. He did not hesitate to speak up on behalf of his fellow man. He was essentially the face of the civil rights movement. He led bus boycotts in Montgomery, was in support of the freedom rides, and led the March on Washington. Because of him, my mother has the right to apply to any job based on her competence. Because of him, my father can sit on any bus, train, lunch counter of his choosing. Because of him, my sister is free to pick friends from whichever racial background she chooses. Well, at least in theory. To this day, we are mocked for advocating for equitable access to education, or labeled as domestic terrorists and falsely imprisoned for peacefully protesting. Were you mocked for having equality among your people? Were you killed because you wanted the best for your people? Imagine having a knee placed on your head as you squirm, begging for your life and muttering the words, "I can't breathe." Imagine being shot dead in the street like a dog simply for jogging while Black. Unfortunately, we don't have to imagine it. This is sadly the reality we experience in the world today. So what progress really have we made? Very little. In fact, let me tell you a story. One day, my 7-year-old cousin was visiting, fresh from her trip to Canada. She was so eager to tell me all of the details, like going to Red Lobster, staying up all night watching movies, and actually experiencing blatant racism. And boy, was that something I didn't prepare for. Apparently, she was on a playground, playing with her newfound friends and bouncing around on the equipment scattered across it. While she was on a swing, a girl around her age approached her. You know what she said? "You're Black. You're not supposed to be here." I was shocked, but more so disgusted, not only because of what she said, but also the fact she said it at such a young age. My cousin said she felt a little confused and scared. The disgusting horror of racism in our society is that no one develops opinions on races on their own. They are taught these norms, that it is okay to look down on those who do not have the same skin color as you. Dr. King dreamed that one day his children would live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but on the content of their character, and still to this day we are waiting. And not only are we judged by the color of our skin, sadly, many of us are persecuted, prosecuted, and executed at the hands of those who are sworn to protect and serve. The unfortunate murder of George Floyd has made us more sensitive and afraid of being stopped by law enforcement instead of being reassured and protected by them. Dr. King warned us we can never be satisfied as long as the Negro is the victim of the unspeakable horrors of police brutality. The fact that the errors of racism are still burning today makes it so that there's even a need for the Black Lives Matter movement, a powerful movement that I hope will be able to project these concerns I have today as a Black kid, hoping to address the burning issues of racism in our society. As Black Americans, we are in the unfortunate position of being doubly oppressed by direct and systemic racism, as evidenced by the economic inequality that plagues our community. And few of us have the means to escape our situation, even if we wanted to. Dr. King stated, of all forms of discrimination and inequalities, injustice in health was most shocking and inhuman. There should be no reason why the Black race should have lesser access to healthcare than whites, or how they should live in communities like food deserts, having no choice but to rely on healthy food options. It's no wonder our minority communities were and continue to be disproportionately affected by COVID-19. Less access to adequate nutrition, quality medicines, and the fact that many can't afford to take leaves off of work. Looks like we're still dreaming. But I'm grateful to be a free man. I am proud to be a Black man. I've seen my brothers and sisters incarcerated disproportionately. I have seen them slaughtered. I know our communities are not getting the necessities they need. But I'll leave you with one final quote from Dr. King. He said, "History will have to record that the greatest tragedy of this period of social transition was not the strident clamor of the bad people, but the appalling silence of the good people." We, as a community, can use our voice to take a stand and make a difference too. We can't wait for another Dr. King to transform our community. And though his legacy remains, we are the next generation of people. It is our responsibility to ensure our communities are safe and secure. Dr. King fought for our freedom peacefully and gained the respect of millions worldwide. If one man could accomplish such a feat, imagine what we could do as a tribe. My name is Kamsiyochukwu Keke. Thank you for listening.
Kamsiyochukwu, imagine what one man can do. We are going to take a 5-minute break. As you saw in the back, we have our volunteers helping us with refreshments and things to fill our tummies while we wait for the next round of contestants. So take a 5-minute break and we'll be back with you. my coffee back there. Yeah. Yes. If we can take our seats, another minute or so, we can take our seats. Our contestants are anxious to compete and share their message. As I mentioned, we're the Alpha Alpha Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated of Newark and Essex County. And we have with us our chapter president, Brother Dele Oladapo, who will bring you greetings.
So it's just afternoon, so I guess I should say good day. Good morning, good day. My name is Dele Oladapo. I have the honor and privilege to be the chapter president of Alpha Alpha Lambda. Our chapter was found in 1926, so we've been serving the Newark and Greater Essex County area for over 95 years. The fraternity experience for us is one through faith of God, family, and brotherhood. It's so important for us to do the work in the community because we come from the community. I'm going to give thanks in a few minutes, but it's just so important for you all to understand that for us, this is not a passing experience for us. This is a lifelong experience. I've been in the fraternity for over 30 years. My son has been in the fraternity almost 5 years. My other son will be in the fraternity someday soon. So welcome, you are family to us as we are to each other. First of all, I want to thank Seton Hall University for hosting us today. It's great to be out, right? It's great to finally be amongst each other. We spent the last 2 years suffering, being challenged, but finding resiliency through God and the family. Alpha Alpha Lambda provides community service, provides scholarship, and provides brotherhood to the brothers in the chapter and brothers who come in either through the chapter or get reclaimed. I also want to thank the family and friends who are here. It's not easy to put a child through college, to put a child through high school, and then to take the additional steps to participate in oratorical contest. So when I see these young, brave, articulate, strong young men talk critically about life's challenges, that is very much a reflection on the support that you all give. As a parent myself of 3 children, it is no small task to keep them safe, to keep them brave, to give them the kind of support that allows them to think critically and articulate themselves. So please give yourselves a round of applause. I'd like to thank our Education Foundation. Our ability to give scholarship is through our nonprofit Education Foundation, which does a wonderful job in the scholarship process and the stewardship process of the funds that we raise to be able to make sure they get in the right hands, which in this case today is going to be your children. I'd like to thank our judges. I'm sorry for you all because it's a hard job, right? So thank you for the judges. And in particular, thank you to my big brother, Jason Foy. One of the things that I love about this fraternity is that you'll have men who are decades older than you that you call big bro, but then there are going to be people who only came in 1 year in front of you. And Jason Foy is an example of that. He's got heart, he's got charisma, he's got style, but he also has dedication to the service that he does through the fraternity. Also, congratulations on your recent Bergen County Bar Association President Award. I'd also like to congratulate the brothers of Phi Eta chapter who are here at Seton Hall University. We usually do the MLK Oratorical at maybe a church or a different facility. I think it's great that we're able to partner with one of the colleges that we oversee. So AAL takes care of 3 undergraduate chapters, and the brothers here at Seton Hall University are part of the chapter that we support. So thank you, brothers, for hosting us today. Also want to thank the brothers of the chapter, Alpha Alpha Lambda. Our chapter is robust and resilient. And yes, we've got mayors and doctors and lawyers, but for the most part, we have people who provide for their family and need support as well. So we make sure we focus on brotherhood support for each other so that this way we have the ability to provide and support events like this. So thank you, brothers, for everything that you do. Lastly, and most importantly, the contestants. I like to define luck as opportunity meeting preparedness. So this opportunity to be able to participate in the oratorical contest comes by once a year. But if you're not doing your studies, if you're not listening to your parents, if you're not having faith in your own confidence to push yourself forward, you can't take advantage of an event like this. Understand that you're changing the course of your life. Many people do not have the courage to do what you're doing right now. Let me repeat that. Many people, adults included, do not have the courage to do what you're doing right now. You are winners. You are changing the course of your life. You're changing the course of your lives of your parents. You're changing the course of the lives of your brothers and sisters. Your parents are watching you right now, coming to tears that their fears and their challenges are being seen through God, through your success. So we're so, so proud of you. Continue to do it. The nervousness that you feel right now, get used to it. The road to greatness is not easy. You are going to stumble, you are going to fall, but you are going to continue to move forward. I'm going to leave you contestants with a quote from our fraternity brother, Martin Luther King. The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. Congratulations.
Chapter President Dele Oladapo, the road to greatness is not easy, and all of our contestants are winners, for sure. We're going to continue with our presentations from our contestants. We're about halfway through, but no one's checking really, right? We're going to bring next Zaa'khir Witherspoon. Zaa'khir Witherspoon.
If Dr. King were alive today, I believe he would plead with every young person to believe in ourselves. He'll tell each of us that we are someone destined for greatness. We are not defined by the color of our skin, but by the content of our character. Greetings to the brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha, Fraternity Incorporated, and guests. My name is Zaa'khir Witherspoon, and I am in the 8th grade at Marion P. Thomas Charter School, located in Newark, New Jersey. The question I was asked to address today is what Dr. King's perspective would be on the world today. First, I believe Dr. King would give a speech to me and my peers to empower us out of his love for young people. While Dr. King was alive, he encouraged his young followers by reminding them why God created them the way he did. If he was alive today, he would speak directly to young people and tell us to hold our heads up high. He would remind us that we are Black, and yes, we are beautiful. One of the problems Dr. King would identify with the world today resembles one of the problems he faced while he was alive. Dr. King stressed that if we wanted to sign our emancipation, we must get the history right. In one of his speeches, Dr. King proclaimed, "Somebody told a lie." What do I mean by someone told a lie, you ask? For clarity, Dr. King would tell us to check the definition in a dictionary with the synonyms of the word black are associated with: ugly, evil, sinister, degrading, low, horrible, and dirty. Fast forward to today's time, and we see how this opinion continues to exist. An innocent Black man jogging down the street, murdered because he looked sinister. Somebody told a lie. No-knock warrants issued and used the killing of innocent Black people. Somebody told a lie. 2 Black head coaches in NFL. Somebody told a lie. If Dr. King were alive today, I believe he would shake his head in dismay at the way the voting rights for Black and brown individuals are being attacked. Obstacles such as registering voters is getting more and more difficult, decreasing the early voting time frame and enforcing stricter identification requirements are being put in place to make it harder for people of color to vote. In 1965, the birth of the Civil Rights Movement started with the campaign of civil unrest in Selma, Alabama, to bring attention to the suppression of the Black vote. Now, in 2022, people of color in certain states still face the same type of discrimination. Don't get me wrong, the suppression of Black vote is not the only issue that will upset Dr. King. He will also be upset by the fact people of color must exercise their voting time each time the voting booth is open. Yet, we tend to make excuses on why we're not voting. Dr. King would tell us, I have come to see more and more that one of the most critical steps that the Negro can take is that little walk to the voting booth. This is an important step. We've got to gain a ballot, and through that gain, political power. Dr. King will encourage us to use our voice to cast a vote each time there's a national and local election. As I wrap up my speech, I'd like to reaffirm on what Dr. King believed. Love is the answer. Dr. King stated, love is the greatest force in the universe. Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. So stick with love, because hate is too great of a burden to bear. Today, I will close my speech with a quote from Dr. King's beloved daughter, Bernice King, where she recently stated, I've seen what love will do. Love is not weak or passive. Love implements the demands of justice. Love is gracious and gritty. Love builds hope in houses. Love is about service and changes to the system. Love deconstructs, disrupts, and dismantles hate and inhumanity. Love is the answer. Thank you.
Zaa'khir, Witherspoon, love is the answer. I want to just take a moment to acknowledge our viewers online. We are streaming live for those supporters who couldn't be here in person. As we said, we are socially distanced today, so we've made that option available to people to watch online, and I'm told they are watching in droves. I mentioned earlier that I'm a correspondent and anchor for ABC News, not NBC as the program says. And yeah, so in that role, I'm not supposed to give a commercial or advertise in any way. So I'm taking that hat off today so that we can recognize our sponsor of the event, one of our sponsors of the event, Laz Parking, and the Senior Vice President is with us, Eric Siskind. Please come forward.
Wow. I am really moved and humbled to be part of this event today. Fair warning, due to COVID, my public speaking is a little rusty. I haven't done this in a while, and thanks for reminding me that there's a lot of people watching online. I appreciate that. So just some ground rules. I know it's an oratorical competition, but I don't want to grade after I'm done. And also, Brian, I know you said I had 2 minutes, but I've never given a speech in 2 minutes, so I apologize if I go a little long. But I did want to start, by saying thank you to all the sponsors. Certainly the venue here is amazing here at Seton Hall. All the other sponsors that participated with Laz Parking to honor these kids today and hear their message. And certainly to Alpha Alpha Lambda Scholarship Foundation for inviting us to participate. Such a wonderful event, providing opportunities to the 7th and 8th graders of Essex County for an amazing 24 years. I can't believe that. I've done 1 or 2 charity events in my day, and I know the commitment it takes to pull off just one of these events, and really shows the character and commitment of this organization to their mission. And, an organization that I'm proud to say our organization is, was able to participate with. You are ensuring that Martin Luther King's message lives on, but also making it relevant to our children living in the world today. In the Jewish religion, we call this a mitzvah. So it loosely means a good deed or selfless act, and that is what you're doing for these children. When I met Dr. Brian Agnew this year, he had me at hello, of course, which I'm sure he had a lot of you the same experience, but I instantly knew that this was someone who I admired. Since then, I've been introduced to some of the members of Alpha Alpha Lambda, and even had the opportunity to hear some of the speeches from last year's participants. These kids really moved me and knew instantly that this was an event that matched the mission, value, and practices at Laz Parking. I read something once about Dr. King that I thought was really relevant to the event here today. It said that Dr. King was not just a dreamer, he was a doer. And I want to tell the 7 finalists here today that by being here, you are doers and persons of action. One of the many reasons why this event is so meaningful to me is that I've been a resident of Essex County for 38 years. Quick story, but I moved here when I was 12 with my mom, sort of like the Karate Kid. She single mother, heard there was a job in New York City, hopped in her old caddy and, packed up our house and drove up to South Orange, New Jersey. Didn't know a person here. But because it was close to the city, my mom decided that this was, where she wanted to live. I ended up finding a place so different and welcoming, diverse, sometimes strange. I still can't believe you have to pay to get on the beach here in New Jersey, but so special I never left. I raised a family. My wife is a lifelong resident of Essex County. My wife's family has been here for over 100 years. And as an organization, Laz Parking's New Jersey headquarters is based in Newark. We have employed hundreds, if not thousands of people from Essex County over the years. And I believe our commitment to diversity is second to none because our culture has always been based on diversity, equity, and inclusion. I am fortunate to be part of an organization where our leadership encourages and demands that we give back to the communities in which we live and work. I wish that I was able to introduce our founder and CEO, Alan Lazowski, at this event because he is the spirit of Laz. And I know that if Dr. King were alive today, that the two of them would be walking hand in hand, spreading the word of love, equality, equity, inclusion, and diversity. Some of Alan's accomplishments and work have not just inspired our leadership, but also drive our values. It includes Alan's appointment by President Obama to the United States Holocaust Memorial Council. He serves on the national boards of the NAACP, Anti-Defamation League, Conscious Capitalism, and the Advisory Council of the Milken Center for Advancing the American Dream. not to mention numerous awards, including NAACP Civil Rights Award and the Anti-Defamation League's Torch of Liberty Award. I also want to introduce Omar Pereira, my partner at LAS, who I've worked side by side for 14 years. He's also a lifelong resident of Essex County. He's a member of our National LAS Committee for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. And in 10 years, I expect his son Evan to be up here on stage too. So one of the most powerful things I've learned over the years, I think is relevant today, is that words do matter. Dr. King also said that in the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. That is the same for these young leaders participating in today's events. Your words do matter. In closing, I want to make two commitments, actually three, from both myself and LAS Parking. Probably should have cleared that with Alpha Alpha Lambda, but I'm going to take a shot that it's okay. But, also once you give me the microphone, all bets are off. But first is that I believe, and I think Mark Hassell said it today too, that we have to help our youth and we have to show our commitment to our youth and give them that first step when launching a career. And you talked about each step of that path, whether it's in middle school or high school or college. How many of our kids graduate school and they're faced with a lack of quality job opportunities because they don't have quality real world work experience? That raises the next question of, well, how do they get the experience if they can't get a job? The same circular argument that we've had for forever. So my commitment is to provide at least one internship for a college student that has been part of this program every summer for the next 5 years. Thank you. This will be a real position with real pay, where we can give experience in marketing, sales, operations, accounting, HR, IT. I know parking's not so exotic, but we do all those things. Typically, these positions are based on who you know. They're unpaid or just not available to kids in our community. I will personally ensure that they will have a great experience from a company that employs over 15,000 people across the country and the largest in our industry. But the doers that I see today are exactly the people 7 years from now, when you're in college, that we want working for us and will be part of this program. Second, you have my commitment to bring at least 4 more sponsors to next year's event, with the goal that each of them will offer one additional paid internship for our children. I'm sort of going off the cuff here, but I did want to add a third thing. And I hear from each of these presentations, and I just know that there's your family behind you. There are the teachers that got you to this point. And I want to also donate $500 to each of the 7 kids can pick one of the teachers that were the most inspirational for them and give them the tools to continue to fulfill our message and dream and bring more kids to the level that these kids are here today. So. Lastly, Brian, you promised me that you would consider me for honorary membership into Alpha Alpha Lambda. Wanted to say I may be the oldest pledge at 51 years old, but even if you don't, then I am still honored to be invited to participate here today and in the future to support our children and continue to make Essex County a great place to live and work. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes.
So there's a very interesting story that I won't be able to share with all of you about how Eric and I actually met. But let me tell you, that passion, that commitment from LAS Parking is really due to the 7 young men that are here today. The 24 years of this work is to make sure that there are 7 more next year, 7 more the year after that, and 7 more the year after that. I want to make sure Eric knows that we are recording this, so everything that he committed, we will follow up on. and to a true friend and partner in this process. Thank you. Thank you sincerely on behalf of the Alpha Alpha Lambda Scholarship and Educational Foundation.
I don't know that we all heard what he said. So, not only are we recording it, but as a journalist, I took notes, and I just want to repeat this for the record. You're offering a paid internship to a scholarship recipient. Your commitment is to bring 5 sponsors to our next event who will also bring paid internships, and you are giving $500 to a scholarship recipient's teacher of choice who's been inspirational to them. I mean, y'all have a Brinks truck parked in your lot or something? It's amazing, and we thank you so much. Again, not a commercial, but I think we all need to go out and find a last parking lot, don't we? Somewhere, there's got to be one somewhere. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, our next contestant, Lateef Aiyemi. Lateef Aiyemi.
Writer and community advocate Dr. Margaret J. Wheatley once said, "Without reflection, we just go blindly on our way, creating more unintended consequences and just failing to achieve anything useful." If I had the opportunity to listen to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s perspective of our world today, I can see his face filled with complex emotions and opinions. For I believe Dr. King would be intrigued and yet disturbed by the advances of society with the specific focus on Black people, the horrendous evolution of police brutality, and the ever-growing strides and challenges in Black education. I know that the word proud would be an understatement coming from Dr. King if you were to see us today. His face would light up as soon as he saw former President Barack Obama and the Obama family sitting in the White House, the first Black president ever, but not the last. To see how educated and accomplished President Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama are would enlighten him. A beautiful Black family that by their very presence has changed not only our society, but the world. He would then see present day Kamala Harris being inaugurated as vice president. Madam BP Harris was the first woman and woman of color to hold such a position. As he gazes upon America, he would then spot Robert F. Smith, a Cornell graduate and member of Alpha Phi Alpha, who co-founded Vista Equity Partners, an enterprise system and storage company. Mr. Smith has financed many popular technology companies, including Apple and eBay. This led him to become part of the billionaire club, $6.7 billion to be exact. No wonder, while speaking at a 2019 commencement at Morehouse College, he pledged to pay up the tuition of all the graduates. Now that is truly a servant to all, an act that would even transcend Dr. King's expectations. Another way to truly see Dr. King's perspective would be to acknowledge one of the central points of his dream, education. In Dr. King's speech, The Other America, he mentions that in this other America, thousands of young people are deprived of an opportunity to get an adequate education. Not because they are ignorant, not because they don't have the adequate education, but because they don't have the native intelligence, and they're so devoid of equality, so segregated, if you will, that the best in these minds can never come out. That was just 1967. According to the United States Census Bureau today, 88% of Blacks or African American have a high school diploma, just shy of the national average. Even though segregation is no longer legalized, it has taken a new shape in our educational system through standardized testing and the distribution of funding.
In order to escape such darkness, we must not only speak up, but educate ourselves as well. However, Dr. King would be proud that we are still trying to see it through. Sadly, Dr. King will also be presented with the harsh realities of the world. He will see the death of Tamir Rice, Botham Jean, Ma'Khia Bryant, George Floyd, and Breonna Taylor as unjust and ridiculous. The way Black people are being killed over assumptions and irrational thinking. This lack of thought affecting the lives of Black children would make any sane person mad, especially Dr. King. Yes, the lives of Black people in our society have changed, and much progress has been achieved, but it's society who hasn't caught up to our brilliance. I believe this would make Dr. King very upset. The fact that I can name so many different injustices plaguing the world today is saddening. Police brutality, discrimination, issues related to voting rights, restriction placed on women, gun violence, and more. Unfortunately, racism is still at the root of most of these issues. This doesn't mean that there aren't those who are standing up against such injustices. Stacey Abrams is a huge example of this. This Spelman College alum led one of the toughest campaigns for governor that the state of Georgia has ever seen. A true fighter for voting rights. Let's not forget, Morehouse College alum and member of Alpha Phi Alpha, Senator Raphael Warnock, who also took up the mantle to fight for what's right in the US Senate. In Dr. King's speech, Beyond Vietnam, A Time to Break Silence, he states that some of us who have already begun to break the silence of the night have found that the calling to speak is often a vocation of agony. But we must speak. We must speak with all the humility that is appropriate to our limited vision. But we must speak, for we are deeply in need of a new way beyond the darkness that seems so close around us. So let us heed Dr. King's words and speak up. If not for yourself, do it for my generation. Us, the youth of this country, are ready to make a change. In the past 5 years alone, there have been many protests that kids themselves have done. Dr. King would be speechless, for kids around the world are taking matters into their own hands. They're staging walkouts, protests. They're using social media to bring about change. They're speaking out against sexual harassment, against gun violence, against racism, against sexism, against injustice. And it's because children are the future of the generation that I believe that even though Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. would be concerned that the world may seem to be going backwards, he would also be unconcerned because he knows that the future of the generation is in the hands of people who are ready to make a change by any means necessary. And for Dr. King, that would be a sight to behold. Thank you.
A sight to behold, Lateef Aiyemi. Alpha Phi Alpha is part of a cohort of brother and sister organizations that we support and who support us. And we have some of those other member organization members here, and I just want to acknowledge them briefly. If there are any members of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated here, we thank you and we welcome you. Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated members, thank you, we welcome you. Zeta Phi Beta, thank you, we welcome you. Sigma Gamma Rho, thank you for being here, we welcome you. The fraternities who support us and we support Kappa Alpha Psi, thank you for being here. Phi Beta Sigma, Omega Psi Phi, and Iota Phi Theta. We thank you all for your support. We will bring our next contestant with us here, Reeves Fils-Aime. Reeves Fils-Aime.
Good afternoon, brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, my fellow orators and guests. My name is Reeves Fils-Aime, You may not have heard of me before, but I am a 7th grader at Glenfield Middle School. I enjoy swimming, skiing, and playing tennis. I collect comic books and am an active member of the New Jersey Orators Incorporated. Today, I will share with you what I believe would be Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s perspective on the world today. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was born on January 15th, 1929, and was assassinated on April 4th, 1968. Martin was born in Atlanta, Georgia, to Martin Luther King Sr. and Alberta Williams King. Martin was an activist of nonviolence in the civil rights movement in the 1960s. He was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom and the Congressional Gold Medal posthumously due to his assassination. As a pioneer of the civil rights movement, Dr. King fought tirelessly for equality, using the guarantees under the First Amendment, seeking quality education and fair access to employment for all. As a member of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC, Dr. King participated in the Poor People's Campaign to gain economic justice for poor people in the United States. So what would be Dr. King's perspective on the world today? If we were to look at what a horrendous year 2020 was, starting with COVID-19, followed by the murders of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd at the hands of those sworn to protect and serve, and an unprecedented interruption to our way of life, we can agree that Dr. King would be concerned about the welfare of Black and Brown people and the inequalities that would likely result from these events. In the last 2 years, our society is sheltered in place, redesigned access to education, lost social interactions, and been strained by limited resources. Dr. King would have fought to make things better for people. He most likely would have been in support of justice reform, the government's COVID relief program, and rent moratorium. Dr. King would have been extremely vocal within the Black Lives Matter movement, recognizing the origins of policing in this country and the absolute necessity to dismantle and reconstruct it for a more just society. Dr. King would have been at the forefront of the political landscape, urging all to vote and appealing to those in power to act towards a more inclusive union. If we are smart, we will look back on the legacy of Dr. King and the wisdom of his teachings and apply those jewels to the efforts necessary today to ensure that the states we call united honor the Constitution as it was designed and give opportunities to all. When I think about the summer of 2020 and the televised murder of George Floyd, I'm reminded of Dr. King's "I Have a Dream" speech. It would be fatal for the nation to overlook the urgency of the moment. This sweltering summer of the Negro's legitimate discontent will not pass until there's an invigorating autumn of freedom and equality. 1963 is not an end, but a beginning. Those who hope that the Negro needed to blow off steam and will now be content will have a rude awakening if the nation returns to business as usual. During the summer of 2020, Dr. King would have protested against the injustice and inequality of police brutality and murder. He would have studied the past leaders of peace like Mahatma Gandhi to create a small blink of hope for the Black community. Dr. King would have taken a strong action against the multiple deaths at the hands of those sworn to protect people. Dr. King would have most likely supported the economy with a focus on minimizing joblessness and resolving the diminishing access to goods and services around the world. He would have worked towards ensuring Congress approved economic relief programs to release funds to citizens of this country, like you and me, to prevent further economic burdens for those most vulnerable. Dr. King would have worked tirelessly with the U.S. Department of Education to ensure that children working remotely were receiving equal access to school resources to minimize any child being left behind. Additionally, Dr. King would also challenge brown and Black people to be even greater participants in the economic growth of our communities by owning their homes, starting businesses, and investing in the stock market. And while 60 plus years later, we are still struggling with issues. Like Dr. King, there is an energy of optimism we can still emulate. Dr. King was a freedom fighter, but also a true patriot who believed in an America better than the one in which he lived. In his 1964 Nobel Peace Prize speech, Dr. King shared his hopes. I accept this award today with an abiding faith in America and an audacious faith in the future of mankind. This faith can give us courage to face the uncertainties of the future. When our days become dreary with low hovering clouds and our nights become darker than 1,000 midnights, we will know that we are living in the creative turmoil of a genuine civilization struggling to be born. It is my prayer that we continue to journey forward with the ideals and the energy of Dr. King to reach the glory of a true United States. Thank you. Again, my name is Reeves, Fils-Aime, presenting to you Dr. King's perspective on the world today.
Reeves, Fils-Aime, Dr. King's perspective on the world today. You know, our judges have a really tough challenge ahead of them here. We have one more contestant to get to, but before we do that, I just want to recognize our judges and the hard work that they're putting in, to tabulate the results. Let us give thanks to Brother Jason Foy, Brother Marvin Pettis, Brother Leonard Robinson, Mr. Omar Pereira, and Brother Talir Robinson, who we should mention is a former scholarship recipient of the Michael Machogi Scholarship given by this chapter. He's also vice president of the Phi Eta chapter, a real product of our chapter, a rising star in the fraternity. Thank you all for your work today. We are going to have our next and final contestant here, Zachary Richardson. Zachary Richardson.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a peacemaker, a leader, a visionary, one of those who fought seemingly impossible battles to make sure that we have access to the basic rights that are afforded by white Americans. But he could never stop racism, snuff out its embers, and as a result, the fire that is racism consumes the world still. Police brutality still runs rampant in the streets. Black men and women are killed daily, and most of the time, these heinous acts go unchecked. Framings and false imprisonments still ensue, and racist judges and juries break apart families and wreck lives. Sometimes I wonder how Dr. King would feel about the world today. I imagine that he would feel conflicted, because while we have made some strides towards racial equality, as a society, we have stagnated. America and its people have contributed good and bad to the greater world. But the hypocrisy of those fighting for freedom and democracy is constantly shown. Those sworn to protect and serve twist and defy the laws put in place to protect us and violate us as a people constantly. Those who survive often live for the rest of their lives in fear of the words sheriff or officer. And those who aren't struck down by racism's wicked blade are forced to use rules to blend in, to be seen as tame and not threats. That was not Dr. King's dream. It never was, and it never will be. But the Black Lives Matter protests and marches, the peaceful ones at least, shine a ray of hope on our lives. Hope that someday the police will do their actual job and protect and serve. Protect us, the ones who have to live in fear. And in my opinion, the protests and marches that are going on today would bring Dr. King to tears. His tears of joy and pain. His joy, because people are following his example, voicing their anger and discontent, and rising up to fight. But again, those tears are shed because of his pain. His pain and sadness, because after half a century after his demise, people are still pushing and fighting for equality in an unjust and racist world. Not only would Dr. King mourn these brave souls, he would also mourn his dream, deferred. I too hurt. I too cry. I think about the thousands upon thousands who have lost or given their lives to this cause. It is up to me to make sure they didn't die for nothing. It is up to us. We cannot keep living the lie that our world is a changed one. We have been killed, discriminated against, all for the sole purpose that we are Black. Dr. King once said, "There comes a time where one must take a stand that is neither safe, nor politic, nor popular, but one must do it because conscience tells him it is right. We must do the right thing because without doing it, pushing for justice, then the wheels of change will not spin at the pace that we want them to go." It is hard for many people who have never experienced racism to connect with Dr. King. And thus they are led to believe that this world is post-racial. Even I was led to believe this. But now I realize that the embers of the worst flame in the world, racism, are still burning, that we are not post-racial. And now I realize how painful seeing this world today must be to those who were alive back then, pushing, fighting for equality, only to realize that today, the world is still putting Black people, queer people, Asians, Latinx people, anybody not white, down. Dr. King offered, "Perhaps it is easy for those who have never felt the stinging darts of segregation to say, wait. This is the case, as many who benefit from white privilege often wonder why we are so discontent with our conditions and angry with our position." He also said, "When you see vicious mobs lynch your mothers and fathers at whim and drown your brothers and sisters at will, when you have seen hate-filled policemen curse, kick, and even kill your Black brothers and sisters, when you have seen the vast majority of 20 million Negro brothers smothering in an airtight cage of poverty in the midst of an affluent society, we can wait no longer." This is the same thing that is happening in America today. Except for 20 million, that number is 44.6 million Americans smothering in an airtight cage of racism, redlining, and poverty. We cannot wait for the world to accept the fact that we have to learn about race and racism. And we cannot just put off the problem that is racism and let it continue to burn. We cannot wait for the world to accept that we are not post-racial, yet far from it. Like I said before, these wheels of change do not turn at the pace we would like them to go if there is not a force behind pushing them. We must be the force to open the eyes of the world. As Dr. King said in his letter from a Birmingham jail, if we wait, we stop paving the path to equality. But equality is not enough. Equity, not equality, can ensure our rights. So we will not wait any longer, because if we wait for another movement instead of joining this one, we will not have a world that is pure and equitable, equal, a world like the one Dr. King wanted us to have. I am Zachary Charles Richardson, and I thank you for listening.
Zachary Richardson. We have been educated, inspired, had our thoughts provoked, and our thoughts recognized in terms of how we view Dr. Martin Luther King and his perspective of the world today. We mentioned before that these contestants are not here alone. They're here with their families who are supporting them, and I just want to recognize them personally and publicly. The family of Lateef Aiyemi, a middle school student at Clinton Hill Middle School, 7th grader. Where are you? Thank you for being here. Yes. The family of Julius Carter, a 7th grader at North Star Academy Middle School. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The family of Reeves Fils-Aime, 7th grader Glenfield Middle School. Thank you for being here. Thank you. The family of Kamsiyochukwu, 8th grader at Brook School. There you are. Thank you. The family of Zachary Richardson, also a 7th grader at Brook School. Yes. Family of Raven Williamson, KIPP Newark Community Prep, 7th grader. Thank you for being here. And the family of Zaa'khir Witherspoon, 8th grader at Marion P. Thomas Charter School. Thank you. We mentioned our contestants are all winners, all 7 of them. I've already talked about the MacBooks, the generous offer of employment and scholarships and other sponsors who will come forward from Last Parking. Now let's get down to business, and we will announce the winners of our scholarships for their oratorical skills today. Let's bring forward in a moment. I was told that this was high tech and fast and all that. Okay. As we know, high tech only goes so far when you have humans running it, right? So, we should acknowledge, though, and I failed to acknowledge them earlier, but we have scorekeepers here, our table of scorekeepers. They're hard at work over there. Brother Dr. Joey Jackson, Brother Gavin Prasad, Brother Douglas Brown has been our timekeeper, the one raising the colored signs. Thank you. Audio visual, who's handling the live stream that we talked about earlier, Brother Angel Solis has been helping with that as well. So we thank them for all that they've done to make this event a success. As we said, this has been a real chapter effort, a team effort. It's something we take pride in every year in doing. And even though the COVID pandemic prevented us from having the contest in the way we would normally do this year and in years past, we are happy to be here to continue this tradition of showcasing the talent that we have in our community of young people, 7th and 8th graders, young men who hopefully one day will become alpha men as well. So we thank you all for being here and for this event to take place. And I think we're almost ready. As we said, the tabulation is being done electronically. Our judges sort of, tabulate the scores. It gets transferred over to the scorekeepers, and then they are conferring. And what I have seen in years past is these contestants are so good that it's hard to differentiate between them, that they are often come very close to being tied. We've had a tie in the past, and that's certainly possible here because these presentations and speeches were amazing. I think we're almost ready. And in the terms of the scholarships that we give, they're tiered scholarships based on the 4th runner-up, the 3rd runner-up, and so on to the 1st. And this is something that we will follow these students with as a chapter as they matriculate through into high school and on to college as well. So we keep tabs on them. We make sure that we're there to support them. We invite them and their families back to our events and to the next oratorical contest. And we should also tell you that this is not a one-off in the sense that these contestants have gone through a round of preliminaries to get here. So in their schools and then with us as well before we get to this day. So there's a lot of work that's been put in to making sure that they are here, they're prepared to give their speeches, and that they recognize the opportunity they have to really express themselves as young men and what Dr. Martin Luther King would think of the world today. So with that, and we're still not ready. How about that? Oh, we are, okay. This is what we call tap dancing in the news business. When the prompter goes out and the breaking news is happening and it's just you up here. I got a producer in my ear saying stretch, and so I'm stretching, but I'm done now.
You are
right?
good. Everyone,
Okay.
please join me in thanking Brother Derricke Dennis. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, thank you. All right, so let me make sure I'm clear. ABC, the #1 network news correspondent. All right, so we've already done the congratulations to each of the 7 of you, but there is no congratulations that can be overdone for what you've done here today. The concept that all of you are winners is that you have already won by being at this podium here today. Because of that, what we do is, last year we had sponsorships that allowed us to give out 3 Chromebooks. This year, the sponsorships allowed us to give every single one of you a Chromebook. And thanks to another brother who I'll recognize shortly, the first place winner will also receive an iPad to go home with as well. See, now that excitement has to be joined with the fact that not only do you receive those computers, the iPad, the medal, and the trophy to the first place winner, but each of you will be going home with a cash prize as well. So, the first place recipient will be receiving a $500 check from the foundation. The second place recipient will be receiving a $350 check. The third place recipient will be receiving $250, and our 4 runner-ups will each receive $100. Gentlemen, we hope that this opportunity presents itself for you to open bank accounts, family members, take them to the bank, get a custodial account that allows them to start to save now. That's why we're writing you checks, because we intentionally want to start to spur the generational wealth that comes once we start opening bank accounts. These presentations invoked emotions of inspiration, sadness, joy, pain, but most importantly, hope. Hope that our future is brighter with these 7 young men here. I'd also like to recognize on screen Malachi McKell, who's right in the center, who was a finalist last year here at the podium and was the featured picture that you saw when you purchased those tickets. So Malachi, I know you're listening. Thank you for chiming in. A sincere, heartfelt thank you to Eric and Last Parking for their continued commitment to the Alpha Alpha Lambda Scholarship and Education Foundation. Without them, we would not be here today. We would not be able to provide everything that we're providing to each of these 7 young men. Thank you sincerely, Eric. Brother Jason Foy of Foy and Seplowitz made some introductions to get us into this beautiful space. I want to thank the team here at Seton Hall University for working so closely with us to make that happen. Brother Neil Caesar. Brother Caesar, I want to say thank you because you stepped up and said, I think we can do better. Brother Caesar personally purchased that iPad that's going to the first place recipient. Thank you, Brother Caesar. Brother Curtis White, I know you're watching. Brother Paul Murdoch from MCG Consulting. Brother Marlon Gray from Empower You. My amazing wife, Mrs. Lauren Agnew, and my daughter in the background there with Sphinx Minerva Group. Miss Ruby Wilson, Joey Grinkley, who is online there on the second to the left. And let me pause for a second to say that not only will we be giving you all of those prizes, but Joey Grinkley is the chairman of the African American Outreach Committee for the State Theater in New Brunswick. And we have 2 tickets to a show coming up in March that we're gonna be giving to each of the recipients as well to open them to the arts and culture in the community. And running around here behind the scenes was Ms. Donna Hilton and the Seton Hall crew, which I've already thanked. Personally, let me thank each of the judges. Judges, scorekeepers, timekeepers. Let me tell you, this is not an easy job. And none of us want to be in that chair. So thank you for letting me sit in the back and relax. To our coaches, each of these young men was paired with a brother of this chapter to make sure that they were prepared for today in a level of mentorship that if I could share with you some of the stories I heard from the calls with some of the brothers working with each of you, from going to the store to buy suits for some of these young men, to engaging them in conversations on, you think you know how to tie a tie? Do you know how to tie a bow tie, right? The mentorship that occurs, that generations pass down, we can't put numbers on that. So thank you, Brother Vice President of our chapter, Fred Davis, Malcolm Minor, Daquan Mickens, Carlos Nichols, Marcus Randolph, and William White for spending your time with these young men. And so all of you are sitting here waiting for me to announce the winners, which gives me the opportunity to take as long as I want, like Eric did when he was up here at the podium. And Eric, you earned your time at the podium today. In no particular order, our 4 runner-ups. Zachary Richardson, Reeves. Reeves, I didn't get the teaching of the name, so can you teach me Reeves? Fils-Aime. Fils-Aime. All right. So Zachary Richardson, Reeves, Fils-Aime, Zaa'khir Witherspoon, and Raven Williamson. Please join me as our 4 runner-ups. All right, I'm also looking for our chairman. Perfect. In 3rd place, and let me be clear, the difference between 3rd, 2nd, and 1st were literally between 1 and 2 points, right? You were all outstanding. In 3rd place, Lateef Aiyemi. In 2nd place, Kamsiyochukwu Keke. Which means that our 1st place winner is Mr. Julius Carter. Please join me on stage.
Where all the hardware gets handed out here.
In front of the stage. Okay, so before you gentlemen all run away, there's a gentleman in a gold jacket over there. The reason he's wearing a gold jacket is so you know where the money is. All right, we are serious about what we do. You will be leaving with your checks today. You'll be leaving with your Chromebooks and your iPads today, and you will also be leaving with your tickets to that show at the State Theater today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your continued support of the Alpha Alpha Lambda Scholarship and Education Foundation. I failed to mention that one of our judges today, did you do that, Brother Dennis? Yes, my apologies. Okay, then everybody have a wonderful afternoon. There is plenty of food in the back. Feel free to take some with you. And gentlemen, I'm gonna ask you to just come over here. We're gonna put medals on you and take some photos right here on the side. Just stay right here, come right off stage and we'll take the photos. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful afternoon.
And brothers, we will gather for the hymn in a few minutes as well.
Oh, my apologies. Thank you. Brothers, please come to the front. We'll do the hymn now. While the checks are being written, brothers, please gather at the stage. We're going to do a semicircle. Thank you for that. I apologize.
I think we're forming a semicircle around the stage here. No, right in front.